So the song that I did award is on my new album, Quest Bar. The first verse is by me, the second verse by Rashid ID. That verse was all over the place in terms of my emotions and what I was dealing with internally that I was projecting on the outside world. As far as like how I was conceived, what's going on around me, what are they doing to what have they done to African American culture up until from the last 400, 500 years? How can you deal with an industry that's meant to enslave you? All of these things. So when I think about the verse, especially when I say this part, when I say Native Soul Brothers, they ain't hear me. FBI rented that balcony at the Autobahn the same day Malcolm got called home. Don't keep your blinders on. What I think about is they don't tell you how much the government plays a role in oppressing people. When you say that and you think about that, you look at Malcolm that day at the Autobahn when he got killed, you're like, oh, he had a bad run-in with the Nation of Islam and they didn't like where he was going, his ideologies, and they kind of split different ways. But in reality, I wanted to highlight the fact that we don't take into account how much the government has played a role in keeping us divided, keeping our culture divided, keeping our spirits divided in terms of togetherness, oneness, just as a society, just as a country. So I wanted to highlight all of the back end of that when I said those lines. What's going on with our culture now with Donald Trump being in office? He's literally playing to his base and playing to what he feels that can keep him in office. So if he's going to keep up negative race relations, if he's going to keep up divisiveness between the American people and foreigners and people who don't, quote unquote, deserve to be here, he's going to do anything and everything he can to keep that division close. Because when we're talking about bringing people into office, it's not a people game. It's not an overall vote game. It's a electoral college game. You're playing to people's insecurities and people's fears to keep them divided. When in reality, we all the same. At the end of it, we all the same. We all come from Africa 7 million years ago, from Chadensis, found in Chad. That was the oldest bones found in the history of the world. So we all come from the same place. But if you keep people divided based on the color of their skin, their beliefs, their racial beliefs, all of these things, it'll just keep up the rhetoric that Donald Trump is giving out to the people. He's spewing hate, spewing all of this division, and it keeps everybody at a point where they don't see what the real issue is, which is that there's a lack of love here. There's a lack of unity here. There's a lack of oneness in all regards. And that we just keep going into a vicious cycle. I think what can be done to change a lot of this madness is educate yourself. I'm not talking about going into the books. I'm talking about human interaction. Talk to people. Understand people's perspectives. See where they're coming from. Understand their history. Understand their lineage. Don't have too many preconceived notions about somebody. Like, don't look at me and make a whole assumption and create a profile about me and you didn't say anything to me. Like, don't do that. That's how ignorance keeps perpetuating itself. Sit down, have a cup of coffee with somebody. Talk to people that don't necessarily look like you. And I think that just starting those conversations from that end is a big way to start changing a lot of the narratives about how we see each other in this country.